The good news is I found exactly 6 springs and exactly 6 screws, um, 4 shaped like that for the singles, and shaped like this for the humbuckers. I don't know what those were off of. I might have bought them, but I had 4 like that. And the screws that I found have pan heads on them, which I think should be on here, and not these little fluty heads like that. They're small enough to fit through this hole, but unfortunately, what happened to my toothpick? I had it, yeah, right here. I put the toothpick head in the hole, and literally there wasn't that much thread right there from my nail up. Wasn't that much thread in the body. And of course the pickups were lower than spec for height, and that means the moment I would have released them to try to get it up, which the sponge wasn't going to do anyway, that wasn't going to work. So I found these screws, which are slightly more substantial. See? A bit longer as well, to be able to give me the distance. And they're just about, yes, just like that. Give me a little bit of a starting point to get into the body, and then to be able to sit the pickup up on top of that. But it's actually going to go this way in the guitar. So the flat of the pickup cover sits here, or the base plate, bobbin plate, and it goes this way. But it won't fit that way now. But I just measure it this way to make sure it's long enough, and I might have some maneuvering. So I've got 4 like that. Now, in order to make this work, I need to open the holes in the base plate in order to make them pass through more easily. And by the way, I found out that this cover has a 1/16 gap between the bottom of the cover and the top of the bobbin base. It doesn't sit flush, they don't sit together. So there's a gap, 1/16. It might be a little bit more if you level it out. The bobbin winding is higher than the cover, and therefore how much between the top of the cover and the bottom screw. See, look at that, that's 1/4 of an inch. So it's 1/8 overall from the bottom to the top, and the top to there. So 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch will be taken off the top just for the height distance between those two. And then that leaves me this much to be able to have a spring on and a potential adjustment out of the entire screw. I take off 1/4 inch that way. So I may also need to drill out these holes a tiny bit more to give me some depth so that I'm not screwing hard into it and trying to tear it up. I'm not sure what this body is, so I'm probably going to put a small pilot hole in each one of those, and I'm going to open that up so that the screw will pass through easily and be able to make, when it's turning, it's not biting in the bobbin, and it'll allow me to have adjustment. So I'm going to experiment with this one first, and then I'm going to tell you how it went. Okay, this one went pretty good. Little bit of fiddling, with the springs and the screws and trying to get them into the holes to get them started. If you can find one in, then it's an easier time finding the other one. So okay, that one went pretty good. I'm going to follow the same process on this one, and hopefully it'll go the same. What did I use? I used a I think it was a 3/32 bit to open the bottom for these larger screws to give me some screwing, and it went in pretty good. And then I only had to use a 1/8 bit to match the cover on the bobbin to be able to get the screws to pass through freely on both sides. So that went well. So those are the 2 bits that I need. And let's see. Pointy. I'm gonna just put another strip of tape here because that pickup has to sit somewhere while I'm doing stuff on the pearl. Don't want that screwed up in any way, and then I might as well put an extra piece because I'm going to have to go after the humbucker afterwards. We're going to go like that. We're going to get this one out and do the same thing. Deepen the holes. I mean, I don't have to turn it out very far before the whole thing just pops off. And like I told you, I'm losing 1/4 of an inch of the screw just in the spacer between the bobbin and the top. So the neck has yellow-black wire. I should say the middle has yellow-black wire. The neck has white-black wires. It's pushback wire everywhere inside, and that's good. I saved these springs too. I don't know what I'll ever do with them, but I put them in my savings. I'm gonna have to I guess go and do a little shopping for some hardware because I found exactly 6 and 6 to be able to do this job, and I'm out. If I ever need to have them that style again for single pickups, I'm out, especially if there's no ring. And I've decided I'm not going to put any chrome rings on this one like I did with the Black Galaxy. I'm just going to leave them mounted this way with these screws and the new springs. So the bobbin just had to slowly open it. Oh, see, it went right through like nothing. Just needs to be opened like the top. There. So they're done. And then the holes in the body. Just deepen them a little bit and widen them a little bit. Just like that. Teeny bit. Doesn't take much. Don't push hard. You don't want to be coming out the back. 30 seconds done. And then this is the fun part. Getting the screws on top, springs on the bottom, screws on top, springs on the bottom. Did that not work right? Yep, it did. Springs on the bottom. And now, try to get it in there without the springs falling off. I think this is the reason why they don't do this at the factory with these kinds of springs. Because it's murder to try and get that in. Let's see. We have a bite. Oh, we got a bite. Alright, let's see about the other one. Whoa! First shot. Can you believe it? The world must be coming to an end. All right, 2 done. I'm going to fiddle with the humbucker. And we'll have to put these bigger springs in the humbucker. And I've got just about, yeah, these springs are a little bit longer. They're a little bit tauter as well. There's a little bit tougher compression on these. Did I lose a screw? No, there it is. Sitting with the springs. Okay. All right. I'll be back. The humbucker is different. The singles had a sponge in the middle. These ones have a sponge on both sides. Same length screws. And since humbuckers usually have threaded screws, the threads from these screws are catching here in the threaded tab, which doesn't make for a good adjustment because it just doesn't work. So in order to use a humbucker this way, this hole has to be opened the same as the other ones to 1/8, so this screw can pass through freely and not be threading in that screw. That is the only way it will work 100% properly. So these are just sticky backed, and you don't get much compression on it. I mean, it's just sticky backed. And then the spring in the middle, where they make this little cutout thing. I don't know. Out of everything on the Musis, this is the biggest failure in design, I think, that there is. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So, what I'm going to need to do now is take that humbucker and drill out the tabs. This is metal on metal, and it's going to be magnetic metal. My finger is on the other side of that. Okay, free hole. All right, let's let all those metal filings just sit there. And my vacuum won't take them off. See if a stronger magnet will do it. Nah, it's, oh, they went into the sticky stuff. All right, so we got success. The screws are going through okay. We're just going to position this back around in the way it looks. Should have put some tape there too. Let's see. I have a small end and I have a big end. I want the pickup to be stable at the top end so it doesn't, rock to one side or the other. So put the larger part under the tab, which gives it a wider base stability at the top. Whoops, put the screw in first. I've already put the screw hole deeper inside the hole. And let's see if I can get that in there without scratching anything. Okay, I think I've got it in that hole. That's a bite. Now, where's that one? Where is that one? Where is that one? Okay, I can see it. Have metal filings on that. Only the middle pickup wires are in underneath the humbucker. The neck wires are routed in a different channel, which makes it a little bit easier because that way you don't need to worry about two lumps of wire underneath your humbucker. I can use a larger head on these screws. So I can get good adjustment with that. Yahoo! We're going to call that a success. Yeah, those panhead screws are much nicer than these little shit-ass things. I mean, they're good for something, but just not for that. Alright, I took the cover plastic off of there, and of course everything is greasy right away as soon as I finish playing with all these things. Now, if J-Man had this, he'd probably want to change all the hardware to black to make it black and white. I thought about it, and I thought, nah, don't need to. I've got chrome locking tuners from Musi. I thought I felt a little bit of slop in a couple of them, but it might have been just me as I was, yeah, I think they're okay. No slop. Alrighty. Now, this is flat. That's almost flat. Can I go a little bit more? Yeah. Good. And then there's these posts. And I had fun not getting that out of there. That's a good heavy block, no doubt about that. I thought I could cant it a little bit like this, you know, and try to get it out, but it just didn't work. Now, this problem that occurred from the screw creating threads underneath this lip, that might be problematic. Trying to get that down and in again. That edge might start to thread on there. I think I'll take this to my belt sander and see if I can take a tiny little bit of stuff off the edge underneath, so, and without trying to take off the rest of the chrome on the lip. It's just that tiny little bit of thread right there that it is really hard to get that in the right there. Threads under the flute. Not supposed to be there. Should be just plain chrome like that one all the way. All right, I paused you and I'm back. And I took a little bit of the grid off, and then I tried to create a little bit of the indentation around the bottom a little more. And what I'm going to do on here is, because these threads are extremely fine, they're tiny, 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 tiny fine threads, and the camera won't focus on that. But anyway, take my word for it, they're tiny, tiny, tiny. Just to try to get that to work a little bit better in the hole. Of course, I'm going to get grease on my hands, like I'm doing now. I'm going to put a little bit of synthetic grease on the threads. Should be, yeah, there we go. Should be a little bit left in this from putting it in the tuners. And I'm going to put some in the tuners as well when I take the strings off. Just fill the top threads so that they'll go. Hopefully that'll help them go in, and they'll turn better under pressure as well. I want to change the height a little bit. You can do it under pressure. String pressure, not mental pressure. All right, will it go back in easier than it came out? No. Nah, it's still going to give you trouble. I'll try to do one at a time, just to get it started. Stay. Okay, that one is started. I should get my little hand tool out with the, I think it's a 3mm head, 2.5, I'm not sure. Makes it easier to screw these things around. Did it bite? Yeah, it's got a bite. These take a long time to work with, as opposed to this tool, which is a little bit easier to wangle, and an Allen key with an angle on it. I'm going to start with the front fully down. It is biting in those threads on that side. I might have to see if I can find a replacement post for that. And these are the springs. Yeah, these springs are quite heavy. There, got the center one in. Right, so that one is going to hold it there for me while I try to wrangle these other two on there. The claw wasn't that tight to begin with. Okay, let's move that wire this way, not to be in my way. And they got some nice screws in the claw. They're not threaded all the way up to the top. There's no threads here for about, looks like 3/4 of an inch. That means that there should be a good hunk of screw thread in the body. All right. I'm going to put some tension on it again and see if I can complete a setup on the bridge the way it is right now with the existing factory strings, which of course I'm going to replace. Okay, we got it in there. It's level. Doesn't look like this bridge was designed to go backwards at all, only forwards. Now it's at the bottom on the plate here in the front, and then the set screws down, especially on the high E, are almost completely out of the saddle, which is not necessarily what I like. And that could mean, and it probably does mean, that the neck does need a small shim so that these saddles could sit a little bit higher and these set screws are in a little bit more. I've got the pickup set perfectly with the new screws and springs. I did a little touch on the truss rod because it was just a little bit loosey-goosey. I don't know about the levels of the frets yet. We'll worry about that. And once I get the neck off the body, while I've been playing with it, I noticed that they also have the very large, oversized strap locks, which are really, really nice. They don't have that little flute head. They have like a pan head knob on it, which means that they're not likely to want to slip off if you use a strap. I've been thinking about maybe using a strap even though I'm sitting down most of the time. Trying to get used to maybe sitting, using a strap. Wanted to just turn this Allen key in a little bit. I looked at the back end and there's no adjustment. It doesn't screw in the bottom. Ah, there we go. A little bit of pressure on that poly that's in there. And I think I left the whammy bar at the other desk. I'll go get it. Okay. Let's see if that was just enough to make some... Oh. Is it too much? No, it wasn't too much. Oh, perfect. It's perfect. The other thing I noticed about these whammy bars is that they curve up. They've got a sharp curve up. If they weren't curved and they came a little bit lower, it would be a little bit easier there. This angle degree makes a bit of a difference. A little bit too high, I think. And is that all the way down? I think that's all the way in. Nice thing about this pressure fit too is that it'll stay wherever you put it, as well as being able to pull it out. So, yeah, she whammies there, but not back. It's not designed to go back.